basically not want to eat it, but absolutely delicious. So our second speaker is DeAnna Bailey with Bailey Family Catering, who will speak about how unexpected events can reveal our true gifts. So please welcome DeAnna Bailey.
Hi there. Before we get started, let's please note, she cooks, she runs a business, she doesn't speak for a living. So let's be forgiving and kind, and just know I'm here to share with you how we got to where we are today. So Bailey Family Catering, I'm going to give you a quick synopsis. We are a full-service catering service based here in Madeira. And what full service means is we have food, we have rentals, we have bartenders, we have servers. We will take care of you from A to Z to create a worry-free event for you. You won't have to worry about cleaning up, you won't have to worry about setting up, you won't have to worry about any of that. And on top of that, you're going to have some of the most amazing food you've ever had. With that said, let me tell you how we got our start. I'm going to try not to tear up. So, Bailey Family Catering was actually founded by Ariston Bailey, who was my first husband. We did life a little backwards. We met in the late, well, as my children jokingly refer to it, way back in the 19s, right? And then actually got married in 2013. Because Ariston was a chef, spent most of his working career as a chef, he chose to, on our wedding day, feed the 100 people who were joining us for our wedding. A couple of those people happened to be friends of mine who ran a nonprofit, who then turned to Ariston and said, wow, this is something to behold. Have you considered doing something on your own with this? And if you've ever met anybody who cooks professionally, that answer is always going to be yes. Everybody who has ever cooked professionally has considered having their own business. And that's great because it is a trait that is very much needed because you have to have a ton of confidence to feed people on a regular basis. You just do. With that said, that was not my career. I was in healthcare administration, if we're being very clear. But at the time, Ariston said, yes, I want to do this. So friends of mine walked him through starting a business, how to start up a business and how to make it legal and how to make it right and how to find the right resources and what he needed to do to start the business and all of those things. And I said, great, I'll support you. I'll help you. I will do whatever I need to do when I'm not where I need to be for my career. With that said, in April of 2014, Ariston stepped away from his full-time job to concentrate on actually building Bailey Family Catering. He named the business, he created it, this was his. And I was fully there to support him. As crazy as life is, though, unfortunately, just 3 months later, we celebrated our youngest daughter's 11th birthday on July 16th, and we all had dinner together, had a lot of fun, and unfortunately, on July 17th, Ariston passed away unexpectedly. He was cutting the grass that morning, and he was gone that evening. I remember talked to him on my lunch break, and then radio silence, and it was deafening. Until there was a knock at my door at 8:23 that night. And my son, we had one of those Cape Cod houses, you know, where you like front door, there's like a bedroom and steps that go straight up. And my son's room was right there. And I remember my mom saying, Mom, why are the police here? Unfortunately, I'd lost my husband. We had our biggest event to date scheduled the Sunday after his funeral. And I had never cooked for 150 people. I have entertained, we've been home cooks. I was the cook at home because if you also know cooks, they don't cook at home. So I cooked at home. Tisha, yes, they don't cook at home. Anyways, so I was always the home cook. We entertained. It was our thing, right? So I never cooked for 150 people, but I did that day. And then I just did the next thing that was planned. And in the middle of that, I was still working my career and parenting 2 children who had just lost their father, plus my older daughter who had just lost her stepfather, and trying to figure out how to manage all of these emotions and all of these things, right? And you know where my focus went was not only taking care of them, but all of a sudden I had this focus and it was, oh, I'm gonna learn how to cater. And I just became a sponge. I started learning everything I could and event to event to event that he had planned. And he had networked with people who were bringing him events. Every time I would bring somebody food, somebody would also say, okay, well, what can you do? I need this next. And then somebody else would say, oh, I need this next. And so I just learned along the way. And at this time, to be very clear, I'm cooking out of my kitchen in Blue Ash because I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing, none at all. But I finally found the right resources and found the right people through networking, to be very clear. And in 2016, so about a year and a half after all this happened, I got connected down at Findlay Kitchen, which if you don't know, you know the Findlay Market. They have it's called an incubator kitchen, where small businesses can join as members paying an hourly rate to use all of the equipment and resources that we need to actually legally run a business, a food operation. And so we became members there. And I still remember my first night working there, was terrified because I'm going to admit something here. I walked into that kitchen. I had no idea what any of the equipment was called. I had no idea how to use any of it. And I was so scared that everybody would figure out I was a fraud and think I was a fraud. But I knew I was doing something. And I knew I could do it. I just had to figure out how now to do it there. And I did, very slowly, and with the help of a few very distinct people, one of which, Chef Kimberly Wilbon, who I can't appreciate enough because she saw how scared I was. And she just started dropping little, hey, come here, let me help you with this. Here, let me show you this. Here, have you ever seen this equipment? Like, let me show you how to do this. And she didn't make me feel bad about it. She didn't make me have to ask her for that help. She just said, wait, here, come here, let me help you. And I genuinely can't thank her enough. And over the years, we just slowly started learning from everything we did. And we kind of jokingly became known as the wedding caterers down at Findlay Market. And so we started getting a ton of wedding business because weddings is what I could do. When I was still tied to a desk 7 to 4 every day, Monday through Friday, and on call 24/7 every other week, to be very clear with my current career, and raising 3 kids. Like, it was insane. But we did it. With the wedding situation, therefore, we're going 2018, 2019 at this point. Things have just ramped up. And I'm working full time, and I'm essentially working full time on the weekends and at night on top of working during the day. And plus, my children were in sports and they were traveling volleyball and wrestling and all the things. And here I was, a widowed mom, just trying to figure out how to get all these kids places to where they needed to be. And thank God for the community that we had, who managed to help my kids get to everywhere they needed to be. And I managed to get there as much as I could. And thank goodness my children are as forgiving and as well-adjusted as they are at this point. But here we go. So 2019, I took a leap of faith and walked away from my corporate job and put all my eggs into this basket, which is Bailey Family Catering. I couldn't have imagined that within a year of that happening, we'd be going into a global pandemic, right? 1 year later, here we go. We are in a global pandemic. Interestingly enough, within that year of 2019, I had this new concept because I'm new to food, right? So I'm willing to try new things. And we had started what we affectionately called the Dinner Club. It was downtown in a building, 312 Elm Street, right across from the Bengals Stadium. We were opening affectionately what we called the Dinner Club, which was a corner of their lobby where I was going to have a refrigerator and a warmer, and it was on the way to the parking lot, and we were going to have dinner. Pick up dinner on your way. You don't have to stop again. You can go straight to daycare, get your kid, go home. Done, right? We opened February 20th of 2020. Does anybody remember when we got shut down? It was like March something, right? So 3 weeks in, all of a sudden, my brilliant idea, which I was already pitching to other buildings downtown, done, gone. So in order to stay alive, we shifted gears. And all of a sudden, Dinner Club became, I'm going to bring you dinner. We didn't have a ton of corporate clients because remember, I was the wedding caterer. But the few corporate clients we did have, I went to them and I said, let me send your accounting department dinner this week. Let me send your marketing department dinner next week. let me send you, like, because companies were looking for ways to keep their people engaged, right? And whatever they could to make their lives a little easier. And that turned out to be just enough to keep me and the only other essentially employee I had at that time, the only other person I was responsible for making sure that them and their family ate, in my opinion, because as an employer to my employees, I feel the most ridiculous responsibility to make sure that all of them and their families are good. But at that point, it was me and one other person, and we made it. We didn't go hungry. Our families didn't go hungry. I didn't have to lay anybody off. We made it work. But then 2021 happened, and all of a sudden, the world opened back up, and my business increased threefold in 1 year. We went insane. Throughout our COVID story, I only lost 5 booked events. We went super creative with every person we had. Some of our brides we turned into 2 events. No, I'm gonna get married during COVID in my grandma's backyard with just my immediate family. There's gonna be 30 of us there, and then when we're allowed, we're gonna have a party for 200 people. Great, now we've got 2 events. Other people said, we're just gonna go to grandma's backyard and have this small party. Great, I don't care. I only lost 5 events. We made it work. We worked with everybody individually. We became creative. We just talked to people and figured out, what can we do? How can we do this? And we made it work. We come out of COVID, and all of a sudden, we just go nuts. And I'm looking at some of my people that I have here now, because post-COVID in 2021, we had so much growth. And all of our growth necessitated, I needed people to help me, right? Like, what's the saying in business? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I needed it together. We were going far at this point, and we were reaching far at this point, and I needed more together. And our together came from all of the people who were already with us. I had mothers of brides reach out to me and say, can I work for you? I had brides reach out to us and say, hey, can I come back and work for you? I had people that we knew say, hey, you know, I work at Chili's part-time, and I'm working for you part-time. Let me see if my other Chili's people want to work for us. What was it, 2021, we shut down the Harper's Point Chili's 3 different times for dine-in service because all their staff was working for me. Because they wanted to work for me, and they were making more money. What's that? Can confirm, heard. Until that one, in 2022 in February, called me and said, I'm at Chili's, I'm working. If I walk away from here, do you have me? And I said, yes, we'll figure it out. If you need to walk away, I've got you. And here she is. She's still here. I love her. She's great. But it's just the way it's all organically kind of grown, and how my customers are phenomenal. I adore them. We take such good care of them. And I still meet with each and every one of our customers. I sit down with them. I do all of our tastings. I plan their menus. I find out about their events. I find out what's important to them. I make sure things are going right. But then I trust my people to take care of them. And I trust my people because I adore them. And I think they just know they're the key. I know they're the key. The people that help me are the key. I'm getting off topic a little bit. I had a little bit of a different plan here, but here we go. We're just gonna roll with it. Backtracking, where we are now. We were lucky enough in the late 2022 to be introduced to our current space. Because we had been in a shared space at Findlay Market for so long, we had just made it work, right? It was a logistical nightmare. I had every piece of equipment that we owned at my home in Loveland. All the food was downtown in OTR at Findlay Market. So people leading my weddings would have to start their life in Loveland, come to OTR, go do their wedding, come back to OTR, go back to Loveland, and go home. It was a logistic nightmare. And I had been looking for our own commissary for a very long time until I finally found our space, and we landed in the heart of this lovely little town in Madeira. And here we are. Within the first week, I went, oh my goodness, this space is not big enough. I need more space. However, we have learned to rise and move things and do things and get efficient equipment and do different things to make this space work. And if you ever see us on a busy Saturday when our parking lot's so full, we've overflown into the nursing home, it's just we're doing the best that we can. Please be kind and forgiving to us. but we continue to grow. At this point, there are about 6 of us working full-time-ish adjacent, and 40 to 50 part-time servers and bartenders providing full service all over the greater tri-state area, from Dayton down into Kentucky, over Indiana even occasionally. And in the meantime, the family has grown. So since all of this, I have adopted a 4th daughter. We have 5 now adult children. I picked up another husband along the way. Thank you, COVID, for shutting me down just long enough to meet somebody. And we are just going to continue to grow as a family and as a unit. If anybody has stopped into our shop, you've probably met our new chef. I finally, last year, once we moved into our home, it finally allowed me to have the stability to bring on somebody with experience that I never had. I've just been self-taught all along. Finally brought in somebody who actually knew what they were doing in that kitchen and could use all that equipment. And so now I'm learning to operate my business and not just be in my business. And I am extraordinarily grateful for each and every person that has called Bailey Family Catering a part of their life. Whether we have catered their weddings, it's just insane to me how I run into people all the time, and we've just touched them in some way. And they've all touched me too. And I just want to thank you guys for coming out and listening to my story. It's a pretty fun one. If everybody knows, I am the chaos. Everybody around me is the calm. So me being this calm is pretty cool. You got 10 minutes of calm out of me, and I hope I didn't go too long. So thanks, gang.
Good job.